So let it begin right here, right now. Earth Revolution.
Hey everybody, welcome to Earth Revolution once again. I'm your host, Susan Shan. We're so glad you're with us. And my guest tonight is Eddie Barnes. Hey Eddie.
Hey Susan.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Eddie is the Director of Recycling Solutions for a company called Collective Good, based in Boulder, Colorado, which was originally founded by Seth Heine in the year 2000. So it's not a real old company, relatively new, 8 years. And Eddie, tell me a little bit about Collective Good and what you do.
Collective Good is the country's leading environmentally focused cell phone provider. What differentiates us from almost any other cell phone recycler is our attention to detail when it comes to managing and properly disposing of all accessories and cell phones that we receive. We collect the phones, and that's any phone made. We collect the chargers. We collect all accessories. We pay for the postage. We bring them to our processing plant, and then we properly distribute the phones and accessories and chargers down to the downstream partners, who then, with full documentation, environmentally dispose of or reuse those pieces so that there's no harm or minimal harm to the environment.
And tell me a little bit about what some of that harm would be. Why is it important for people to care about recycling their cell phones?
Well, there's two sides to why it's important and how you can help prevent harm to the environment when it comes to recycling. When you have your phone, you've already picked up a product that contains precious metals which were mined from the earth, and in fact 17 precious metals are contained in each cell phone, and you will find, if you do your research, that that amounts to approximately 3.5 tons of toxic waste that was created so that these precious metals could be extracted from the earth.
Amazing.
So right from the beginning, we're all working with a product that has an enormous environmental impact.
Yeah.
And what we want to make sure we do is that we encourage the manufacturers and designers of these products to seek out those resources in ways that do not involve as much mining and destruction of the Earth's surface.
Okay.
Now, secondly, if we throw the phone away, it will end up in a landfill, and in that landfill, the toxic materials within the phone, which are many, including lead, cadmium, mercury, beryllium, arsenic, these will eventually, over time, leach into the water table and become part of the very water that all of us drink, and it may not be us, it may be our kids. But this leaching effect cannot be stopped no matter what steps are taken, and so reducing the phones into landfill reduces the toxicity in our own environment.
Yes.
So there's the before picture, there's the after picture, and if you want to think of why you might consider recycling a phone, look at the before side. If you had the option to stop 8 or 9 bulldozers from tearing up a huge piece of the earth and then mining out 3.5 tons of toxic waste, and all you had to say was, no, I wish you wouldn't do that, you can do that by recycling your phone.
Just a simple act like that can have an enormous impact.
Enormous
if enough
impact.
people do that, it can literally stop
Exactly.
mining, you know, tons and tons of toxic waste, as you say.
Well, let me connect the dots so that that loop makes sense to everybody. It doesn't stop mining, but there's a phrase that the industry uses. It's called above ground mining.
Okay.
And because these phones contain so many precious metals, to give you an example, if we had 200 of these phones right now, that would be enough gold to make this wedding ring.
Yeah.
By properly disposing of these phones and making sure that the ones that cannot be reused get to a smelter who knows how to recover the metal,
Yes.
we are preventing the 3.5 tons of toxic waste per phone.
Right.
It is far cheaper, far easier, and far more less harmful, if somebody can say far more less.
Far more less, yeah, kind of a
and far more less
phrase,
harmful.
but we know what you mean.
Okay. To have the manufacturers seek out these smelters who are able to extract all the precious metals that are
Yes.
contained in phones.
And reuse them, reclaim
And reuse them in their manufacturing process, and that's where it comes into the design and sourcing for the major manufacturers of cell phones. slowly this message is starting to work its way through the system.
Wow. And you told me earlier that about 55% of the phones that you reclaim, and you reclaim all types of cell phones.
Any phone ever made.
And chargers.
And
all
chargers.
these things. And about 55% of those get reused. They can actually be used by somebody else.
That's right.
Reactivated with a cell phone company.
Right.
And then the other 45% or so is what goes to a smelter to be ground down and separated into its component metals.
And reused again.
And reused again. So
Exactly.
you're closing that loop.
Yes.
And you're preventing that toxicity in landfills.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me a little bit, number one, what percentage of cell phones are recycled currently? And is that percentage growing? Do you see an awareness among consumers beginning to grow with this information?
Well, there's an enormous number of cell phones in the world. In the United States alone, it is estimated there are 1 billion cell phones sitting in people's desk drawers. That's because
Right.
just about every one of us is on our third or fourth phone, absolute minimum,
Yeah.
since we got our first
I
one
know,
in the
sure.
90s. And for reasons that are many, we may not have thrown them away. The trick is, can we get all of us to get them out of our desk drawer and get them into a recycled, a company who will recycle them responsibly?
Yeah.
Now
and
that's
that goes
part
for
one.
other electronic appliances
As well as other
Yes.
electronic appliances. That's part one. The ones we've already bought, used, and don't use anymore.
Yeah.
Part two is every year, and it increases every year, but right now we are manufacturing as a planet 1.2 billion cell phones every year.
It's staggering.
Now, your first question was how many of these are recycled? The percentage is way less than 5%.
That's a
And
concern.
It is a
to
concern.
say the least.
And so the challenge is, can we get people aware enough to pull the cell phones out of the desk drawers that they have, and also begin to understand responsibly as they upgrade to their next phone that the consumer process, the consumer cycle must include, as well as purchasing, as well as enjoyment, it must include returning the phone to its proper end-of-life place so that the planet isn't harmed.
Right. And that is starting to happen, and
It
your
is.
company is pioneering a huge effort to do that.
Yes, we are.
And you partner with a number of organizations that also benefit from these, and I'm just going to mention this briefly because we're getting low on time, but Collective Good also partners with a number of charities, and all of these charities are listed on the website, so when somebody wants to donate a phone through Collective Good, you will not only send them the mailing label so that they can do it free of charge.
That's right.
And you can use a box of your own, but they can pick a specific charity devoted to a cause that they feel passionate about, and Collective Good will donate approximately $1, the value of the phone, to that company. So it's a win-win for the consumer, for the earth, and for these charities as well. And we're getting low on time right here, so I'm going to stop. Unless you want to tell me a little bit about Green, can you tell me about Green Phone in 60 words or less?
Green Phone is our other website, and for people who would like to be paid directly for recycling their phone with Collective Good, they can just go to Green Phone, type in the data on their phone, which is usually displayed beneath the battery in the back, and we will send them money for that phone.
Okay, and that's greenphone.com.
That's right.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with Eddie Barnes. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Eddie.
Thanks, Susan. Thank you
Don't
for the
forget to
opportunity.
recycle those cell phones. Very important stuff. And other electronic devices as well. Coming into this new consciousness about taking care of our Earth. Peace, love, and recycling, folks. We'll see you next time on Earth Revolution. I'm Susan Chan, your host. See you then.